This episode contains sensitive topics. Discretion is advised.
Welcome in, folks. You are at the Lusty Lounge. Take your seats, get your drinks ordered, all that nonsense, because my brain's skipping a beat today. Today, I am your host, Puce, with my co-host, Suna.
Hello.
And Noodle.
Hi.
And today, we have our special guest, creator of the infamous ice cream, Moose Tracks.
Where? Oh, me. Hi. Greetings, salutations,
Nice to meet you,
smellutations, and all points in between. Nice to meet you three as well.
I'm so sorry for what's about to
I
happen.
appreciate you leaving the back door open. It is hard for a ruminant to fit his body into places like your delightful club or lounge. And I also appreciate that you have salt licks on tap. None of that is accurate.
A Ruma what?
Ruminant, which is the scientific term for what a moose is. Yes.
Oh, we're gonna be here a while.
It's okay.
You can't use big words. We're all dumb.
No,
they're dumb.
I am used to using.
I'm not dumb.
I am used to using polysyllabic terms that go way over the heads of the people around me, and I just roll on to simpler terms as things go along. I am Moose Tracks. I am an art monkey that likes to draw things and post them on various places on the internet. You may know me from such things as giant breasts, giant butts, and all points in between on the female body. I am an expansion artist and have been active on the Twitter under this handle since 2019 or so, and I continue to draw to this day and also tell terrible, terrible jokes.
See, now I
Smash.
feel old because you said you've been on Twitter since 2019. Twitter was like, hey man, here's your 14th Twitter anniversary. And I'm like, I've done nothing with this platform and I feel ashamed.
Well, Twitter is hot garbage. It is a stinking pile of dog shit and needs to die in a fire. So while I have been on that platform since 2019, I've been around longer under different names that you may or may not know, but that shall remain nameless because that is a life I've left behind.
Fair enough.
Mood.
That's
Me and the Witsec guys, we get along real well, you know.
God, I feel like you are what Puce dreams of being.
Oh, sure. 10 out of 10 hot, though.
Oh, you don't know what that means.
All he's gotta do is change the P to an M. I am a mere two letters
No.
before him in the internet, and then boom, he's good to go.
But the difference is
No.
you're hot. Intellectually smart. Please don't laugh. I can't think.
Wait, whoa, how do you know what he looks like? Are you just saying the moose head is hot opposed to Puce in his apron?
She's saying the language is hot.
Yes. Intellectually.
Sure.
10 out of 10 hot.
Sure.
And I'm
Sure.
stupid.
Yeah. I'm sure.
I
whatever
got one
you
of
say
them
to
big,
You're still in trading.
big, throbbing, meaty brains.
Yeah, that's 10 out of 10.
I
Mine's like half wrinkled.
That's fine.
Mine is smooth as hell.
Your wife likes that, though.
Correct.
oh yeah,
I wish she did.
smooth brain, better for going down water slides.
Exactly.
Yeah, don't we?
Moose Tracks.
Yes.
Tell us about, you say you've existed as Moose Tracks since 2019.
That is accurate.
What,
I draw the bits, the bobs, the boobs.
yeah. I personally found you from, Breast By? Is that what it's called?
That is in fact what it's called.
By something?
Breast by. Because if you take the business Best Buy and add an R and an A, it becomes boob themed and thus engenders more puns and wordplay, which is far more fun for me to play with. To say nothing of the fact that absurd breasts in normal situations are my jam. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun times. I've co-created that series with Jesse Star TF, who you can find all over the place under that handle.
Always good to shout out other people's.
Absolutely, especially when they are responsible for half of the stuff that's gone on. We did a few strips for it over the course of 2020, along with some smattering pinups here and there through 2021, 2022, and 2023, and it's going to be coming back in a big way in 2025. If you want to see
Hell
more of
yeah.
it and a lot of good stuff in it, the idea is essentially it is a department store that sells expansion themed what's the word I'm looking for? Appliances and devices. Not necessarily one-to-one, so it's not like here's a breast ray or here's this, but it'll be a microwave which radiation shrinks you. or a refrigerator whose calories are deposited directly into the fatty areas of the female body, or a Nipcon camera that every time it takes a picture adds 10 pounds in very specific areas,
Oh
and
man,
other
that sounds
silly.
question.
Go ahead.
Question now. As a budding amateur photographer,
Go for it.
does it add the 10 pounds to the person taking the picture or the person in the picture?
The one in the picture.
Oh hell yeah, I need one of those. I need one of those cameras real bad.
So,
Well, it sounds like Breast Buy is coming back, so you just gotta visit there.
absolutely. The existing strips are being posted slowly by Jessie on her Blue Sky page, and I think on her Twitter as well. I don't know. I haven't checked Twitter in days because, again, hellscape. And it's a lot of fun. It continues to be thoroughly entertaining to draw and to absorb being written.
Let's start there so I can think of more questions later on.
Absolutely.
Where'd this idea come from? Just like, were you sitting down with your friend one day and y'all were like, "Let's do this," or like, how did this happen?
The idea came about because I posted in early 2020. I drew the character Tiffany, who is one of the OCs that is kind of the main cast in this, with huge tits, looking completely nonplussed about it, wearing a department store uniform. So blue polo with a yellow collar and khakis, and just titled it Breast Buy. And the idea was just that this is somebody who works at it just hit me. The pun hit me, and I posted it to Twitter. Jesse and I got into it on Twitter, just coming up with additional puns like department names, different things that you'd find within the store, and thought the idea had legs. So we started going from there, rounding out the store, rounding out some other characters, and kind of figuring out how the story could work.
Okay. I definitely see some what is the right word? How do I want to say this? There's a lot of room for collaboration with that, which we will talk about later when I'm fully awake.
I am sending you consciousness vibes because I just downed half of a Starbucks double shot energy drink, which seems like a
Oh.
poor idea at 8:30 in the evening. But
No, that sounds delicious.
let me
No,
go
it
ahead
sounds-
and
It sounds awful.
I
I
love
don't like
it.
I hate Starbucks.
Love coffee. Love
Coffee is fine. I just don't like Starbucks.
Well, that sounds like a you problem.
It is a me problem. The fucking Dunkin' by my house is under construction. I'm like,
Yo,
bitch.
fuck Duncan.
nah, yeah, fuck
Hey,
Dunkin'.
hey, hey!
Fuck
Whoa,
no.
whoa,
Dick.
whoa, whoa!
You take your fucking Dunkin' ass Boston bullshit way back up
I-
to the docks where you fucking belong. You fucking townie.
swim with the fishes. Fucking hate Duncan. I hate Duncan. Everybody.
Boston with
Why
the
do
fucking.
you hate Dunkin'? Why the
I
fuck
used
do
to
you hate
work
Dunkin'?
there. I
Personally,
got fired
God,
for
oh,
no good
oh,
fucking
no.
reason. So fuck
Ooh,
Duncan.
mm,
Fuck who they
personally,
do.
I don't get
let's-
down.
Tim Hortons.
Never mind. Let's
personally-
move on. Let's
I just
Noodle. I
no,
feel
was-
so bad for you. I got a question for you later.
I personally don't get down with Dunkin' because their drinks are so sugary and full of caffeine that they give
Yep.
me panic attacks.
Understand?
You can't have a panic attack if you're already having a panic attack.
Yes, you can. That is who
I used to
taught
work
you
there, that's how it
neuroscience?
works.
Who taught you
Oh.
neuroscience? That's not how the brain works. It can get worse.
It gets to
Do
another
you guys not have
level.
Tim Hortons?
Do not.
The Tim Hortons by me is like a 15-minute drive, and I'm like, I don't want this right now.
I'm not going 2.5 hours away for something mid.
Tim
Damn.
Hortons
I
is
have-
pretty solid.
I have Starbucks right there. Roommate works there too. So extra convenient.
What do you mean? That's free coffee.
Hell yeah. Free
Okay.
coffee all the time.
Dragging us back
Sorry.
to the topic at hand because that was way too much of a tangent.
Wow, it's rich coming
So-
from you.
I know. I'm trying to be conscious of our guest and his time.
Stay on target.
But Moose Tracks, how long have you been into doing the arts and the stuff?
In general, in expansion art. That I started doing long before I legally should be.
Nice.
And I met some very nice people way back in the day who I submitted art to who told me, stop it, you're a child, you should not be doing this at this point in time, please come back when you are
Correct.
legally allowed to do it. And I
Absolutely correct.
said, okay.
Smart.
And I went back to my corner where I continued drawing it for myself, but not posting it to the internet. And I've just kind of continued. It's something that's always been a fascination for me. It's something I've been into since I was too young to understand what being into it meant.
16. 14. Yeah, let's go with 14.
I'm gonna go 13.
Cool. We'll go ahead and take one of those numbers off of it because that's as early as I can remember really enjoying things where people turn into round objects. And then just it's continued. I started to I kind of capitalize on the idea of wholesome horny, which is not necessarily the most explicit stuff that you're going to find on the internet, but that still has it. It's almost like PG-13 plus. And there wasn't a lot of that when I was coming onto the internet, when I was looking for it. So the things I wanted to see, I needed to draw. So I did.
Honestly, that's a good place to sit on
That's
that stuff
awesome.
is wholesome nudity.
And that is again where I live. It's a Looney Tune sensibility with a little bit more directly erotic theme to it. I've dubbed myself occasionally to be Walt Titsney.
That's
Amazing.
Uh-huh. I'm
So,
gonna make your breasts
obviously-
grow now.
Obviously, you are into the breast expansion because of breast buy.
Well, that entertainingly enough, it was just for the pun. I am into
Really?
yeah, I'm into growth of all kind. I kind of lean to breast expansion was my first love, and thus will always have a special place in my bosom. But really, any embiggening of pretty much any kind, be it giantess, ass expansion, full body expansion, anything really. I can find a way to get into it and enjoy it.
Okay.
The one exception being blueberry or spherical
Yeah, no.
expansion. Because,
Yeah, no,
and this is,
understandable.
well, the reason why is because it's boring to draw.
So blue. So round.
It's just a fucking circle.
Sphere.
I can respect that.
And for that reason specifically, and that reason predominantly, I just check out. It's like, come on, man. Could you challenge me a little bit? I want a blueberry, and I want her to be the size of the city. Cool. I'll make a bigger circle. Draw some smaller rectangles nearby.
I've never really thought about it like that, but yeah, I do feel like creatively that is not very challenging or rewarding. So yeah, no, you're right.
I think that's why I feel the way I do about larger breast expansion stuff. Because at that point, it's just two large circles.
Well, and it's funny because there's the old adage that there's no such thing as too big, and in many expansion circles, that's accurate. But there is also something to be said for getting large enough to the point where it impairs your ability to witness the person who's experiencing it. And a lot of this does boil down to how the character is reacting to what's happening to them, be it in an erotic way, a panicky way, to lose the emotion of the character as you get further and further removed from their face, from their body, from the things that let them communicate and emote, the less impactful it becomes. So there still needs to be some element of the individual that's attached for it to still have any kind of relevance or importance, at least to me as an artist and a storyteller.
So true.
I was like, yeah, I can't disagree with you on that because when the boobs are just the picture and the picture's just out two clumps of flesh, I'm like, well where's the person?
And what's the
But yeah,
point?
no.
How do they feel about this? What's the point of it? And then, not for nothing, for me, when it gets to a certain size, it also limits the angles and sort of compositions that I can put together. Because if you want to see a face of people that are attached to a boob wall, you have to shoot them from the back. There's
Yeah.
no other way around it, because if you try and see them from the front, you can't. And there's nothing quite like getting a commissioner that says, hey, I need to see it bigger, but I also want to see their face. And it's like, friendo, you cannot have it both ways.
Yeah, that's when you got to do like a cutout panel in the corner.
But it's cheap every fucking time. That's cheap. It's like,
Gotta take a
why?
Hey,
magnifying glass
I am
over
agreeing
it.
with you 100%. I'm just saying that's like the only go to it you can get to.
It's just like, damn it. I want to be creatively fulfilled.
That's a hard balance. Because sometimes you don't always get to keep that creativity because somebody's so fucking weird in the worst way, but the best way. Because their vision is so broad,
Specific.
but so yeah.
And I've been doing this long enough and working in enough situations that like a graphic designer who understands their field better than the people that are asking them to design graphic design things. I can say, no, 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 no. You think you want that. What you actually want is this, and this is what I will give you.
You take what I give you and eat it.
Absolutely. You came into my shop and you asked me for what's on the menu. What's on the menu is what I'm going to give you. I'll give you whatever you want so long as you want what's on the menu. So this is what's coming your way. Enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, get the fuck out of my shop.
Aside from the being infinitely too big and can't sing the face, do you have any other cutoffs that you're just like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that?
Here and there, but it's really one of the things that I do try to bring to the table with my presence online, with the artwork that I do, is giving people the opportunity to see things that they want to see that they wouldn't be able to see anywhere else. And I'd make it a point to not harsh anybody's vibe as much as I fucking can. There are certain things, Lolly, I stay the fuck away from. Anything scatological, I stay away from. Gore, I stay away from. And explicit vor, to where you like see people being digested or skulls. I've done
You're
some.
talking the full length of vor. Okay.
Yeah, like that's why I said explicit vor. And then because again, I kind of lean on wholesome horny. I don't do a lot of penetrative sex or anything like that.
Okay.
Have I have done it occasionally, and there are a few times that I get taken by the vapors, and I need to draw something similar. Most times it involves Mr. and Mrs. Moose, which, because I do like involving my wife in what I do, I've drawn a version of her that is just the moose head that you see on my avatar, with blonde hair attached to it, gold earrings looped around the antlers, because where else would you put them, and preponderous curves.
That is so cute.
Oh, we're fucking adorable.
That is so cute. I love that. That is so sweet.
If you've not seen it, I will send a couple images in chat.
When you were, I guess, dating your wife, were you at whatever point you were just like, hey, I draw sort of, kind of, but not really porn on the internet. How does that make you feel?
Nah, she's known about it from jump.
Oh, damn. Does she have a sister?
All of which are married.
Fuck!
And none of which are into this, at least to the best of my knowledge. If they are, and they're aware of what I draw, then they have done a very good job of not telling me.
Oh, no, wait. I'm supposed to be flirting with Noodle. I mean, yeah, that's right. It's all right.
No,
Yeah.
I'm terrible. Get it right.
Yes, you absolutely are terrible, but I need terrible right now.
No.
Now that you show me your characters, like, from the side and, like, with hair, my brain actually sees the A, and I don't like it anymore.
You don't like that it's an
It
A?
makes me want to cry.
I want your type of autism so bad.
There's a lot of people out there that give you the more explicit shit, but when you just want a cozy time to curl up with some titties, Moose is here. I got you covered.
Respect that.
With giant breasts.
Yeah,
'Cause they are that
fully
large.
Respect.
I will say I do really like your color palette.
It's awesome. It's very eye-catching, very vibrant.
Saturated is what some people would call it.
No.
Color is the weakest element of my artwork, but I am glad to hear that it is still working somehow.
It looks good.
Listen, of all the artists we've spoken, and the one artist I've spoken to separately, color is hard. Color makes no sense until you force it to make sense.
Yeah, and color theory is a bitch too.
Yeah, it's if there is anything I have learned recently, it's that to get color down, you gotta get value down. And once you get value down, you can start incorporating color far more regularly.
None of us are artists who will just quietly nod and agree.
That's all you need to do. Let me feel secure.
Well,
Yeah.
Puce has drawn an animal or two.
I can
What?
only doodle little weird stuff.
Define, you know what? No, don't define weird stuff.
No, it's just like little bunnies and like frogs talking shit.
As they should.
Yeah, it's just all they do.
Of course, if you're talking shit, does that just mean you're farting out of your mouth?
No, they're saying very obscene.
Speaking of which, I also do not do farting. Made
Good.
that mistake once.
Yeah.
Never again.
That's
I
I don't
get
do
that
nothing
they're
with yum, but
There was a time that I early on in my artistic career, I drew a picture of that, and out of the woodwork they came. It was as though Gondor had called for aid, and everybody that was into it was like, "This fucker will draw it! Get over there!" And I was inundated. And because I had been a perpetual people pleaser for so many years, I couldn't not.
Oh, oh
And
no.
then I did. But that's what
I was
no.
gonna say that would taught you how
learned.
to say no.
Oh, absolutely. There are certain things that come into our lives to teach us lessons. That was one that came into mind to teach me how to say, "Thanks, I'm not interested. I don't need your money. I don't need the clout that comes from this. I will find it somewhere else. Please, for the love of God, stop asking.
Understandable.
Stop
So, like,
asking."
No, I feel you. I am not one to turn down money. I'm just like, nah, I can't. No. Mm.
Yeah, I
That'll
also understand.
teach
Yeah.
you. That'll teach
Oh,
you
yeah.
how.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So you said Mrs. Moose has been with it since the beginning.
Yes, she hasn't always been into it, but she has
That was gonna be my question.
She appreciates it. It's not necessarily her bag. She understands it is mine and accommodates as best she can. We've been together, the two of us, for 25 years,
Oh.
and there's very little about the other that we don't know. So it's one where
Oh, so she's known about the moose since the beginning.
oh yeah, no, she was there for the genesis of all of this. And got to grow along with it.
That's so cute. You either grow together or not.
Good puns. Good puns.
And yeah, I mean it's one where she gets it. She gets the why. She gets the why.
Yeah, you don't have to enjoy each other's kinks and fetishes, but you
To
gotta
have the
understand them
understanding
at
and
least.
respect is
Yes.
super important. That's what keeps it together. It's the glue.
Well, glue is traditionally glue, but after that experimentation phase, we realized it was a bad idea.
Understandable.
Did she want to be included into the comics and whatnot, or were you just like, hey, is this a thing I can do? And then you had your kid, and was there a discussion to add your kid to the comics, or you were just like, fuck it, no, they don't care, it'll be fine.
For the kid, a little bit of column B. For her, column A. She did want to be involved, especially, and it felt right for me. Because if I'm going to draw Moose engaging with this and engaging with it, because Moose is my avatar, there is a lot of his goofiness is my goofiness, and to have him get involved voluntarily with someone else felt disingenuous, felt like I was crossing a line that I shouldn't be crossing. So I made it a point to include an avatar of her so that if there is ever a time that something is happening of Moose's own volition versus happening to him, that there is a recipient to have it. And then because Mini Moose has come up in terms of conversation here and there, it felt right to have him represented, at least in the same sort of abstract form that she and I are.
Okay, so your wife actually loves you, unlike other people I know. Got it.
I feel like there is some shade being thrown inside the call, and that's okay.
Oh, no.
Can't relate.
Not in the call.
It's not you, Pius. Your wife
Yeah, I
loves
was
you.
gonna say.
Ain't no way someone's gonna willingly put up with you like that if they don't love you.
Hell, Mrs. Puce has been on the show, so
Mrs. Moose and I do get along with each other rather swimmingly. I think I'm going to keep her around.
good
Oh.
idea.
Good to know.
And that is what passes for affection in our household. In case you were curious,
No,
somehow
I fully
what I
understand.
just
That shit's
did
cute.
is supposed to be romantic conversation.
No,
The
I
two of
fully
us will
understand
look
it.
at each other. She will look at me and say, "I love you," and I'll look back and say, "I've grown fond of you as well."
You're doing better than most anime where they're just like, I know. And I'm like, oh, okay. Ouch.
You have created a longing that I cannot fill, and it's making me so mad.
Sorry, I only
Hey,
know
man,
how to
what
be
do you mean?
me.
I'm right here.
Nah, it's different.
What do you mean? I'm right here. I'm nice to you
Nice.
all the time. Sometime,
What?
not really.
Fucking what? Nice. That's the difference.
I know. something's wrong with your bitch ass, and you're just
I
like,
know.
no, don't be nice to me. And I'm like, the fuck.
Yeah, fuck that. Don't be nice. Peacock.
Also,
Anywho.
I mean, you can eat mine. We can start there. Also, I
Mhm.
think Moose disappeared because he sounded like a robot. Then he went away.
That is because I am partially robotic. That is just an
It's the
aspect of me.
antlers.
I am an android. It's what
That's how we pixel
it's what
Wi-Fi.
accounts for my pixel perfect line work.
It is really good line work.
Thank you very kindly. I do try. I have been accused in the past of using vector lines when everything I do is raster, so I take that as the compliment as it is intended.
I have no idea what that means, but
Oh,
I
you
do
said
know
I'm
what that
gonna act like
means.
I know what
I
that
was gonna
means.
say, I know what that
Nah.
means.
nah.
I'm saying that just for my graphic design nerds out there. I see you. You are valid. It's okay. I know you don't want to keep using Adobe products, but you have to. And
Yeah,
I'm
shit
sorry.
sucks, dog. It's a pain in the ass.
It's respectable. I'll act like I know what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Fucking uneducated. You know what? You're right. Yeah.
Hey, I'm
Yeah.
educated in other ways.
Yeah, you need to
have
teach
other
me some shit
talents.
too. When the fuck we gonna do that?
When you get good.
Scrub.
I am okay at best,
Mm,
which is good enough.
skill issue.
Maybe if someone had their fucking driver's license in a car.
All right.
Hey, I
All
don't have to
right,
fucking
back
drive.
to-
I don't have to drive. No one has told me I have to
Mommy,
drive.
Daddy, stop fighting!
No, it's how we
Just
show we love
fucking
each
say.
other, remember?
Yes, I have to have aggression. That's how I know I'm loved.
It just makes
That was getting way out there. Even I wasn't keeping track of what was going on.
it makes Baby Moose feel very uncomfortable, and I am afraid. I'm gonna go stay with Grandma for a while. You guys figure this shit out.
Wait. My
Can't work it
grandma
out,
or
except this all the
her
time.
grandma?
Yes, both
My
of them simultaneously, even if
No, my
one's
grandma-
dead.
No, you don't want my grandma. She's a pothead. Loves weed.
My grandma will make sure you are not hungry. So.
Most grandmothers love weeding, absolutely. And I think between one who's a pothead and one who loves to cook, I will be taken care of.
Yeah?
Okay.
All right. We got all
Moving
the
on.
weird conversations out.
I mean,
Whatever
not
the hell
for,
that all was.
No.
for the time being.
time
yes,
being,
there
yes.
will be more. So,
So, Moose,
Yes?
it seems like you've been in the drawing stuff for a while. 2 questions on top of each other.
I will answer
How long
both
have
of
you
them.
had this art style of like you said earlier, it's kind of Looney Tunes-esque. And did you take inspiration from anything?
I have had this style for as long as I have been drawing. It's not something that I intentionally developed. It's something that has just kind of naturally come along through the various influences that I have had. And yes, I have had influences. A lot of them and very eclectic ones.
Your art style, well, some of the pictures, the way it looks, it makes me think of a really, really old comic I read in elementary school. Or
Bone?
middle school. Oh, I'm gonna make you all feel old. It's called Phone the Bone, I believe.
No, it's just called Bone, and it is
Bone.
by Jeff Smith, and that was one of my influences. This is entertainingly enough the second time that I have been compared to that, and it is exceptionally high praise. So thank you.
I love Bone. It's such good books, and your art style, just like the way it's done and the way your art bubbles are done, it gives me that feel. Especially with Little Moose. Very much. It gives that feel.
I am very pleased to hear that. Thank you Thank you very much. Jeff Smith's Bone was an influence on me when I was younger. When I read it in elementary school because I'm old as fuck. When I also had a lot of anime and manga influences from Akira Toriyama and Dragon Ball Z to Masashi
Fucking
Kishimoto.
weeb.
Fucking hell, yes, sir. Especially you with that fucking weeaboo ass avatar. The
Yeah.
Masashi Kishimoto,
Yeah.
Tite Kubo, pretty much any of the early Shonen Jump guys, continuing along with, and I say early Shonen Jump, mid 2000 Shonen Jump when the big 3 were a big thing. Eiichiro Oda, the works of Shinichiro Watanabe. On the American side, digging through early 90s graphic comics from Frank Miller's Sin City to Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane, the big guys. These were the ones that I looked at and were like, oh, that's so cool. I want to do that. And then did none of it because it's way too detailed and I'm lazy. But I appreciated the storytelling, some of the like compositions that they would do. And then just it all melded together over time. I would steal the way that RJ or Herge, whoever the guy who did however you say the guy who did Tintin, I would steal the way that he would draw clothing folds, or some of the animatedness that he would put into his work, and I would incorporate that. I'd look into stuff that Will Eisner had done for expressiveness and for just overall excellence. Try and incorporate some of that, and I would just steal little things here and there from people I liked, and eventually tripped into the art style that I have.
I feel like that's how most people do it, because making your own art style from literal scratch is hard and tedious and monotonous. Just take shit you like and make it work for you somehow.
That's how an art style develops. I've described how it was for me. That is how it is for anybody who actually finds a style. If you set out to try and have your own style, you will fail 9 times out of 10, because you're just then making decisions for no reason or to be unique versus just letting your art evolve. It will feel like it's not yours because you see where all the parts come from. But to anybody who's looking, they just see you. And it's one of the perils of being a creator in any kind of space, is that you are the only one that knows every one of your influences. You are the only one that knows where everything you did comes from. So it's easy to feel like you don't have anything new to say, but you are the only one who can say it the way that you will.
Honestly, that's 100% true.
That's very well put.
Yeah.
I'm a nuanced motherfucker. What you think?
Man, your nuance is lost on Puce.
No, I understood all of that.
Gotta give you a pop quiz to make sure.
Here's the good news. We're recording it. He
No.
can
Yes,
play it
give
back.
him a pop quiz. Give him a pop quiz
Wait, no.
now.
Wait, no.
No.
I also can't.
I'm also just going to say, the good news is we're recording this. He can play it back as many times as he needs to make what he lied and said before
It's
the
funny
truth.
you think that he's
I'm
one
the
that's editing
editor,
this.
so
I didn't say he'd be the one editing, just that he had the opportunity to listen to it.
nah, he doesn't get the opportunity to listen to it. He's gonna upload it, and that's the end of it for him.
Can't relate. I
listen back to our episodes.
I listen to our episodes.
I'm glad someone does.
You say that
What?
as though there's nobody listening to this one. If not, I'm cool. I've yelled into the void enough times to not mind it, but also, come on now, guys.
Well, I have different stress anxiety, so you know what? Yeah, you guys are right. Yeah.
We'll go for it.
Yeah.
Little imposter syndrome over there.
Are you a mouth breather or a nose breather?
Nose breather. How else to breathe when mouthful of titty?
I wish I could say that, but someone else's mouth is full of my titty. Because I am.
Hey! Don't tell them what we do.
Expansion
Hey, shut up! Don't tell them what we do.
I'm a G cup.
Ooh,
I'm an expansion dream.
look at you
'Cause
grow.
I went from at like 13 suddenly D cup. At the end of high school, I was like an E. Now I'm a G. Slowly turning into an H. It's making me a little mad.
Just working your way through the alphabet.
Yeah,
Because bras are expensive, aren't they?
they're so expensive.
Not only are they expensive, but you get less and less style options. You have to start getting and finding the right one that fits, especially if your bust is not the same size as your shoulders, because then you get the ones that give you support in the right places, but not in the others. Mrs. Moose may have some of these problems, and I may have gotten the opportunity to walk through her with some of these. Soma has some pretty good options if you can afford it.
Unfortunately, I don't carry my size. I have to order custom.
That is.
I have broad shoulders.
That is the
Tall
rough.
girl too.
Mrs. Moose has the opposite problem. Her shoulders are a little too narrow for most of these. She is also a tall girly. She is Amazonian in stature.
How tall?
5'9", 5'10".
I'm only 5'8". I'm 6 foot when I wear my boots though.
How tall are you, Moose?
I am 6'1".
Okay.
Must be nice.
It is. I can reach things on the tall shelves. I get to look down at people who are shorter than me and say, "How's the weather down there?"
When I wear my boots, I could do that, but I don't really get to do that because my boobs are in the way. Somebody could hide under them, I would never know.
That is what they're there for. That
Don't
and to
tell them
provide
what we do. Shut up.
shelter for small children in the rain.
Yes, I have done that for one of my short friends.
It's very kind of you.
No, it's not. I didn't know she was there.
How did you... Pius, get us back on topic.
I'm just waiting for this conversation to calm down because you guys are just going off the rails.
Well, no,
completely.
I can yes and forever. I have to be stopped.
This is going to be an
yapper.
episode almost as bad as the Mountain Dew conversation.
The Mountain Dew conversation was literally like 4 minutes.
Oh, that felt like way longer.
At least these tangents have been related to breasts, so there's
Yeah,
that.
an
Pius,
extension
what was your
is
next
big
question?
hips.
I know I'm fascinating, but hopefully I haven't revealed all of my secrets yet.
I don't know. I'm still staring at the A on your face.
That is an A. For those who are curious, the full name, Moose Tracks, originates from the idea of being anonymous on the internet. Because as mentioned, I left a previous identity behind, but still wanted to be around, so I was going to be anonymous. But I wanted to have something silly with it, so I was going to be a ninny moose. Then, being a ninny moose, I gave myself the avatar with the anon face with moose antlers on it. And then, when coming up with a Twitter handle, since I was going to be leaving evidence of myself behind, they were going to be Moose Tracks.
God, your name has so much like lore, depth, and meaning, and I'm over here like, I like anime.
Yeah,
I
it was.
understand. I've gone through a couple of rebrands.
Name.
It was very simply, hey, I think I'm clever. I'm wrong, but I think it.
Oh,
Nah, I'll give you
mood.
that's pretty fucking. You put more effort into your username than most people put into naming their actual kids. So,
But nobody gets it. Everybody thinks I'm just a screaming mouth as somebody with a completely white face that is a circle stares up to the sky.
I hope I'm not the only one who's.
You are not.
Oh, thank God.
I don't understand it. It's very clearly, to me at least, an anon face.
Yeah.
And
I'm
hell,
not gonna lie. I've never seen an anon face aside from yours.
Well, no.
That's
that
not
is early internet.
physically incorrect.
That is just me, early internet, being like, hey, they would draw these blank face people with an A on it because that meant anonymous. That makes sense to me. Perfect. Oh, and what do I do for my wife? I give the A eyelashes. What do I do for my child? I make the A lowercase. I am brilliant. I'll take my Pulitzer now, please.
It makes sense. It makes sense. Oh my God.
The Nobel Peace Prize. Why is it Nobel? Because there were door knockers instead of a bell. Why door knockers? Because Moose is obsessed with tits, meaning knockers.
Get on this fucking.
No, she's having a fucking aneurysm, rightfully
I
so.
am.
Absolutely.
she's got
Everything I just said was terrible, which is also why I could win a Nobel Prize for some war crimes.
You're not a Fire Emblem character. You're fine.
I mean, you're a moose. You could go to war for your crime.
Well, no, it was also the fact that Alfred Nobel created TNT.
I know.
Nerd!
I'm just trying to make the reference of moose are big and scary, and you could go to war for it.
Yes, moose are big and scary.
Terrifying.
Unless the enemies have killer whales.
They are the last remaining megafauna on the planet that we know of.
Horrifying.
And their natural predator is the killer whale.
Horrifying.
Yeah, fuck those orcas. Jocks of the
I'm more
sea.
scared of a moose being at the bottom of the ocean.
Orcas,
Or a large lake, whatever it's called.
orcas aren't in the bottom of the ocean. They're just in the. You know what?
I
Never
said
mind.
bottom of the ocean, but
What's
deep.
what's your
Under
next
the ice.
question? What's your next question? What you got?
So how anonymous do you want before Moose Tracks to be?
Relatively.
Okay.
I like to keep it as the world's worst kept secret.
You're not Hime Hajime or fucking Kawaii Pimari, dog. That's not it.
Neither of those two.
Those are words. But so Suna always asks this question, seemingly to all of the artists we have on the show.
Okay.
In high school, were you the What's the question you always ask?
Were you
Anime?
drawing fucking anime bullshit, or were you doing like real, trying to do like real art?
There
I
we
was
go.
doing fucking anime bullshit.
Yep, there it is.
I was doing fucking
Yeah,
anime
that's-
bullshit, especially since I was a homeschool kid.
Oof.
Oh, so you were the actual
Interesting.
baby weeb.
Absolutely. I was sitting there
That's
trying
good.
to watching my AMVs, getting down with some
Stop.
Trigun.
Ah, old.
Stop!
I'm old. I just had to judge an AMV contest at the convention I just came back from. Ah,
I'm going to say 3 words, and I want to see where it goes.
No.
More than toast.
I don't understand that at all.
well, it's been a great episode, guys. I think it's time for last
I have to go.
call.
I have to go jump off a bridge.
More
Yeah,
than
take me with
toast
you
was one of the
first.
first things that I watched. My wife introduced me to More Than Toast and into the world of AMVs, which was an addiction that took me years to kick.
I was the one who showed it to my first boyfriend.
It
This
was
isn't a real
what-
weeb. He'll never
Oh.
understand.
I am too. Oh, that reminds me. I started a subscription to Viz, so now I'll read free run.
good
Or you
fucking
can just
series. Good
it.
fucking series. You
It's
could
so
watch
good.
it, but and then when
As
you're
someone
done
who
watching
owns
it,
all the free run books, you could just watch it.
you should only you should only read the manga after you've watched the show.
Disagree.
And you should only
Agreed.
do that because the show was good enough that it left me wanting more immediately.
Oh, that was me with Ancient Magus Bride. I think the next day I
Oh.
went into Amazon and went all the books right now.
See, I've got the ADHD where I have to read everything. I can't stand watching it.
No, I'm the other way around. Brain has
It's
to
too much
see
sitting
something.
still.
Got to see stuff moving on screen, or brain can't move.
And I mean, not for
I
nothing.
feel bad for both of you because I can do both.
Not for nothing. The fucking animation on the free run series was drop dead
Fucking-
goddamn gorgeous.
Beautiful.
I forgot Madhouse knew how to animate after watching Dragon Ball Super. I'm like, yeah, maybe Madhouse isn't all bad. I'm like, fuck, they don't do second seasons. So who's doing season 2 of free run? Because it ain't them.
And we'll find out. Hopefully, it's going to be somebody every bit as good. And as a reminder,
It's-
if you
it's
ever
gonna
need a
be them.
reminder that Madhouse knows how to animate, Redline.
Oh, that's sitting behind me right now. But no, we know
Redline is
it's
some
going to be.
sick fucking shit. It breaks my heart, but it's so goddamn good.
Neither of them know what Redline is.
That's
I
all
just
right.
know that from One Piece.
It's not a one.
It's not a One Piece reference.
Maybe
Well,
I
then
do
I
know,
don't
but
understand it at all.
remember.
It is. It is.
Sorry.
Redline is what if anime did wacky racers?
Okay. I'm only gonna
Interesting.
disagree with you slightly because Opera Ramon exists, and I fucking hated that so much. Redline was great, so I'll agree with you, but like just a little bit.
Oh, I know this.
Fair.
But Appare Ranman also didn't come out until later.
Recent, yeah. But it's more wacky with the wacky races. Just I do not care about everyone's backstory. Just do the race, please.
But that's what Redline exists for.
Yeah, it's not a series though. It's just a movie.
Doesn't have to be. Sometimes
Yeah.
things can have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and they can give you just Sakuga porn for the entire fucking film.
Tasty.
Weeble.
I'm just opening my cards right now, trying to. Ooh, so close, so close. Trying to see if I got
Nice.
any of the nice signature ones. 'Cause I'm pretty
Nerd.
sure I don't.
If you could pick only one specific expansion to do of one body part only forever, what body part? Or would it be boobs or ass?
Giantess.
Oh, I feel like that's cheating.
That's cheating.
also-
Damn right it is. I found a fucking loophole.
No.
That's not a
No,
body
if it had to be, it is technically. It is all of the body parts.
one.
Okay,
She said
one
one
specific.
body
If it had to be
part.
one specific, now I guess a clarifying question: if it is ass expansion, are the hips and thighs included?
I feel like they gotta be.
No,
Hips,
no. I'll give you
yes,
hips,
ass,
not
no.
thighs.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's a fair cutoff.
Then tits. It's breast expansion all the way. Because if the
Fuck
hips
yeah,
and thighs,
boobs forever.
if the hips and thighs are not included, then it doesn't make sense to me.
Fair. Boobs
Because the second you start getting into the just like Brazilian butt lift look, that
Oh.
is exceptionally unappealing to
forever.
me.
It's like
Where it's just
grape.
like where it's like a tumor that has been attached to someone's ass. where the ass should be.
Toothpick.
I'm not there for it. Now, you want to give me that nice pear shape and the pear just gets bigger and bigger and bigger? Absolutely.
Fair.
Do the thighs have to grow in strict congress with it? No, not necessarily. But it still needs to taper appropriately. Because I will tell
That's a
you,
respectable
a
answer.
That's
young
really
man,
respectable
a young man
because-
would not have, a younger moose would not have even had half of that answer. Younger moose would have just been like, give me the titty because the titty is king.
Yes.
But older
Titty is
moose,
king.
older moose is like, nah, you know what? Nice set of hips, something to
Oh.
grab onto.
Hell yeah.
Damn it! Fuck. Boobs
Something.
forever.
I mean,
Something
I
that's a
mean-
little bit more durable. Because as much as I enjoy the chesticles and as lovely as they are sensitive. They are just a world of nerve endings and whatnot that if you grab too hard or if they get otherwise handled too roughly, it can result in something that is unappealing, which is pain for your partner. If they're not into
Well-
it. If they're not into it.
I was gonna say
But-
Noodle's very much into it,
And that's
so
why-
I'm
that's-
fine.
Listen, there's a reason that a titty twister was a torture on the playground, not something that you were looking forward to, unless you had one of those childhoods. That said, hips are a lot more durable, and from a storytelling and comedy standpoint, hips also allow for, like, if you've got a set of hips that are a little bit larger than somebody's used to, then there's doorways to get stuck in, there are objects to get knocked off shelves, which could also happen with the chestal region, but it's somehow more entertaining to me with a hip. And there is also just the perpetually funny to me 4-panel joke of a hip check that results in somebody leaving panel and never being seen again.
That is a very good
I've done
joke.
that, but with my boob. Just real fast turn and took down one of my friends.
Has not happened around me, at least.
Should have been me.
Mrs. Moose has straight up hipped things without meaning to on a constant basis, and it is perpetually entertaining.
Honestly, I
understand that.
respect that answer. It makes total sense.
I understand.
The accidental hip check is
I'm-
always.
I'm sorry that I
Solid.
keep coming in with reasonable and well-rationed answers so that there's
No,
not
you're
more
supposed to. That's-
discussion.
It was a very dude
How
answer. but
fucking
it was a
dare
dude
you.
answer in a
I'm
smart way.
I come in with reasonable takes. I'm sorry.
No,
you're
we're here
supposed
for
to.
hot takes.
Hot takes.
I mean,
That's not true. we're
cool.
not.
You know what? You
We're
want a
here
hot
for
take? Booba is a garbage word.
hey, I love
Honestly,
Booba.
I
Booba is
agree.
perfect.
that. As a VTuber fan, I will agree. I
Booba
also don't
is
like the word.
a garbage word. Booba is what happens when you have somebody who accidentally hits an extra letter on their keyboard and said, "Nah, fuck it, I'll leave it there."
Yes.
Listen,
It
it lets
angers
the
me.
corporate. No. It lets the corporate overlords go. You know what? It's a typo, so we will allow it. And I'm like, thanks, Dad.
Fuck that. Fuck no,
Thanks.
it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It's not like Twitter's sitting there and saying, "Oh, it's an A there? Cool. I'll let the algorithm suggest this anyway." There are so many other words that apply to that same region that have much more bounce and finesse and fun to them. There are so many words in the English lexicon that have been applied to describe those hanging milkers, those swinging tatas, those corpulent chesticles that you can utilize instead of booba, and it frustrates me to my core that is a
I
word that people utilize.
Love.
I'm trying to see if we
Booba.
use that word in our panel. Now I'm very curious.
Which one, Booba or all the other words he just used?
Booba. I don't think we did. Oh, Keegan, you bitch! You took the schedule down.
You know what? I didn't
gonna
expect
think
a hot
about-
take like that, but I totally respect it.
It's going to make me think for the next convention that I'm going to in December
Ah, here
About-
it is.
about how many times I'm going to hear it or see it in a panel. I now have to think about it, and now I'm a little mad. Because unfortunately, I like that word.
I don't think you're going to see it too much because you're not going to an anime convention. You're going to a
I'm-
Comic Con, right?
No, I'm going to an anime convention.
Oh, you poor soul.
I went to Comic Con in specifically the San Diego Comic Con in July. Yeah, July. Now I get to go to an anime con.
You
Gosh,
poor
you're a
soul.
wee bit Suna. You need to enjoy Western stuff more.
Nah.
I mean, to be fair,
All
more
right.
and more Western stuff does have so much Eastern influence that it might as well be anime.
Yeah. See, fuck you, Puce.
I agree.
Hey, I still got my comic books.
I got the Static Shock comics right here, along with Batman Beyond.
R.I.P. Dwayne
Yeah,
McDuffie.
most of those are probably
No.
ancient at this point.
The fucking Static Shock comic came out last year. It's Milestones.
Did they
Where's
finally
it
give
at?
him a reboot? Thank God. He deserves
Fuck's
it.
that?
I have a weed comic book.
All right, Moose.
Yes.
While they're both distracted by whatever the heck's off screen, do you do this full time or is this a hobby, part time?
This is a hobby. This is a hobby. I am gainfully employed elsewhere. That I've got a
sorry.
day job that I've been at for a long time. Obviously, I'm a father. I'm a husband. I try and do things to pertain to my family and my real life as much as I can. But I dedicate what time I can to this and have a really good time with it.
Good. You have a good balance, which most people don't, because the last 3 people have been like, yeah, this is our full-time job. I'm like,
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
No, I mean, if you can make it work, then by all means do.
no.
But
Well, no,
this
I'm just saying. They're 2 of them were like, yeah, I'm horny all the time. And I'm like, huh. I see.
See, I'm not. A lot of the ideas that come to me that do wind up don't start from a place of horniness. They start from a place of, that's funny.
Honestly, I
That's-
respect and agree with it.
That's hella valid.
So what I'm hearing is you like corruption.
Oh, absolutely. If I can,
That was a joke. Fuck.
No, keep going.
I will. I mean, I came up with I'm sitting there watching this children's character that my son was obsessed with for a while there called Blippy. And it occurred to me that Blip and Blimp are very similar to one another. And buttons buttons and suspenders are 2 fascinating and often used elements within expansion artwork. So I should create Blimpy, a children's entertainer with growing boobs that come up throughout the course. So it's just like the same sort of children's patter of, hi, kids. We're going to go on an adventure today. We're going to explore a hot air balloon. Now, Blimpy doesn't know enough people who pilot hot air balloons, so she's going to become one herself. I'm going to go ahead and put this hose in my mouth, and we'll start in about 5 minutes. And off to the
You, sir,
races we
are
go.
Definitely corrupted. I love it.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's terrible.
like-
and it's gotten no traction online either of the two times I've attempted to post it, but I love it just the same.
Okay. Define traction, because I feel like traction for you is not the same as traction for us.
Less than 100 likes.
Fair. Okay.
I feel like that's a fine definition. Because
Yeah.
I see people who are like, oh, I didn't get 10K likes like the last one, and I'm like,
Well,
calm
and
down.
my
You still got like 8K likes.
I was gonna say, my brother in Christ, we barely get 1.
it's one of those where I have tempered my expectations. Twitter helped with that because there was a while there that I was experiencing consistent platform growth and reach growth through Twitter. I was getting about 1,000 new followers a month. I had gotten 60,000 followers at the start of 2022. And as we were coming to the end of it, I was getting close to like 70,000. I was like, oh, cool. Since the end of 2022, I have been at 69,000 followers and have not grown past that.
Hey, at least it's a nice number.
Yeah, except it's also a stagnant number. I've seen my reach, my engagement drop perpetually, and that's one of the reasons why I have abandoned Twitter and have I am posting pretty much exclusively to Blue Sky at this point, and even though I have substantially less followers, it is a much more pleasant experience, and the followers that I am gaining stay.
Okay.
They don't
Um,
disappear after a day or two.
Do you think Blue Sky is actually going to replace Twitter?
No, I don't think it's going to replace it, at least unless something very drastic changes. Twitter, when you're really talking about it, Twitter has tens of millions of users. Blue Sky has a few, and it's doing well, but it's nowhere near what Twitter is. Could it get there someday? Possibly, but it's going to require continued engagement and continued presence on the platform. Is it where I prefer being? Yes, absolutely. Do I see myself going back to Twitter? No, not necessarily. Because at the end of the day, what I do this for, and one of the main reasons that I continue to engage in it and do it, is because it gives me a sense of release, a sense of place, a sense of, and shut up, you, a place of
Sorry.
belonging. There is an element of acceptance and of camaraderie that come throughout the expansion community and through the artists that I'm friends with that I don't necessarily get other places. And it's one of the things that it is. It's a valve. It's a release valve that it's just kind of like ah. And Twitter stopped being that. Twitter became a place of anxiety, of dread, that even though I was addicted to it because I kept going to it day in, day out, it wasn't, it almost felt like a sense of obligation. And it was a losing game. On Blue Sky, I get more of that interaction, more of that just kind of like chill vibes and a good time. And should I get to the point where I leave Blue Sky or the Blue Sky seems like it's dying, then I'll find somewhere else to go. Probably finally develop my own website or what have you. It's that's what I'm going to wind up doing because that to me is a better use of my time, better use of my energy than trying to chase an algorithm that does not give two fucks about me, and that even though it's a bigger place, it's only a bigger place if it lets you be.
Very well said.
Honestly, I respect that. It's definitely something that I
It's
feel
all right.
like
You
more
just brought
people
me
are
out here
moving
to spit facts for
personal
an hour and a
websites.
half. And yes, if I can leave anybody with that, with some advice, it's create your own website. Have a place for yourself that you own, because platforms are fickle. Platforms will kowtow to the needs of whatever corporate overlords that rule them, whether it be credit card companies, CEOs, what have you. Your website is your space. Once you have it, it can't be taken away from you. If a platform goes away, your website will still be there. So
Yeah.
have your website be there.
Maybe it's time for us to finally start looking into that.
I would recommend it. And if you need somebody to draw some decent art for it, I know a moose.
What do you charge?
We can discuss later. I'm going to make you an offer you can refuse.
Yeah.
Absolutely. People have.
So, what we always call last call. If you don't know Moose, it's where we, as the host and you as the guest, voice any final thoughts, questions, concerns, feelings. We'll start with Suna.
Okay, first of all, you said that all wrong. You left out the
Yes.
other two co-hosts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I said as hosts with an S. You
I
guys
think
are
you need.
hosts.
I don't know, man. I think you need to go look at the Garu clip from last episode, but that's beside the point.
Hey.
This was very different because normally we'd be more question focused. It was nice getting to know you as a person.
You kind of answered
Like-
like a lot of questions before we could answer anything. You were very comprehensive.
I try to be.
Actually, I'm gonna be quiet. Never mind. Stop.
For a robot, you were very human.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, you were very human. Yeah, let's go with that.
You were a gooner.
Yeah,
The disguise is working. Nobody suspects a thing.
He's truly a giant moose. He's got a giant keyboard and he's just clomping away.
God, that would be so. No.
One cloven hoof at a time.
All right. Noodle, final thoughts? Questions, concerns, feelings?
My only feeling is Suna eat cock. That's about it.
Come over here. I will eat yours. We've been over this.
That's
Burn
we've gone through this like three
Guys,
times this
it's-
episode.
it's-
Poor Moose has listened to this.
It is rule of
So
threes.
much.
This was the final time that it needed to come up in order for it
See?
to be funny,
See? I'm like
according to
Beetlejuice.
every comedy writer that I have ever listened to. So you know what?
Yep.
Tip of the hat. You're
Like
good to go.
Beetlejuice.
All right. Moose, last call, final thoughts, questions, feelings, concerns.
thank you all for the opportunity to come on here, jabber with you for a little bit. It is neat to feel like I am somebody worth talking to, and it was a pleasure speaking to each of you, Suna, Noodle, Poos. This was a great time. Thank you for doing what you're doing, for creating a podcast that has this sort of content on it. It's neat to see it celebrated. It's neat to see people who wouldn't otherwise have a voice or a place to come out and talk in a way that is safe and have discussions about the things that do get swept under the rug or whatever perverted interests that otherwise don't get explored. So it's cool of you to give people like that a platform, and of course for just generally being entertaining while I was here. There were some tangents that went on a little long. There were some things that were a little silly, but I thoroughly enjoyed my time here.
Moose, I would just like to say thank you for coming on, because honestly, you're on my bucket list of guests, so I'm slowly whittling away at that.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, he was one of those folks who I was like, I don't even know if he'd answer a message from us. So the fact we had a previous guest connect us with you was very wonderful and thankful for.
For what it's worth, you anybody can reach out to me. I am very accessible. If you send me a message and you are not a dick, I will say hello. And if you want me to come on your podcast, I will come on your podcast. Hell, if you wanted me back to this one, I'd come back to this one. I don't know what else I would talk about. I don't know if there's anything else, but as the great
There's
Arnold
always something
Schwarzenegger
else.
once said, I'd come back.
I don't think he said that, but
That's not the quote, but close enough.
Fuck you. You and James Cameron both. You sit there and you tell me what I was supposed to say, but there's nothing for you to tell me.
all right. That has been Last Call. You may plug where everybody can find you.
Absolutely. On the blue sky, I am moosetracks.bsky.social because I don't have my own website despite my admonishing of others to do it instead of sitting around. You can find me over with Jesse Starr's stuff. That's where Breast By is going to live. So support that Patreon to help get more pages, help get full color pages. It's going to be fantastic when you see it. And outside of that, find me in your hearts whenever you think of Walt Disney, Wholesome Horny, or that little tingle that when you see inflation talked about in the news economically and can't help but picture a set of growing breasts.
I already do that sometimes. I don't even like inflation like that.
Ha, welcome to the party.
Pervert.
The brain rot has found you,
Bitch,
Suna.
I don't want to hear that from you.
Shut up.
Suna, the brain
All right.
rot has found you, and it's in you.
I mean,
Just
I
like
have
me.
VTuber brain rot, so.
Just like me.
I have good brain rot.
All right. As for us, you can find us at Lusty Lounge on Twitter, Blue Sky, Facebook, wherever the heck social media exists. I'm sure we probably
You're
have something.
supposed to be operating the Reddit, and you've been doing a shitty job.
Yes, I have. But if you are listening to us on some sort of listening service, you can also find us on Apple Podcast, YouTube Music, YouTube in general, Spotify, all the podcast services we are available on. Thank you for listening. Please leave a tip for the waitress. Oh, that reminded me. We do have a Patreon, Fansly, kind of both. But if you would like to buy us a drink, you can buy us a drink on our coffee. And on your way out, please don't let the door slam. It is very heavy. Everybody
Try
say
the
bye.
veal.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Beetlejuice, bye.